Well, unfortunately for Manor, they won't like this, but this was a heartwarming story for you, especially for the Brazilian fans who weren't given much to celebrate with Massa crashing out of his final home Grand Prix. Now, there's kind of... This is difficult for me to say, because when this driver was linked with Force India to replace Nico Hülkenberg, I was a bit sceptical, shall we say. RJ, I know you're glaring at me. Just
no, I'm just warming up the pipes.
What you hear right now, that ding, that's the buzzer on the oven. I'm now about to take my humble pie out and eat it. Because yesterday, in pouring rain, with everything else going on around him, and after a miserable season for this team, Felipe Nasr finished 9th, having run mid to lower end of the top 10 for almost the entire race.
I want to make one correction to this statement. Felipe Nasr do Brasil!
Skellington is about to sue us for copyright infringement. There we go. But no, seriously, like, I am tempted. Editing Adam, when you're listening to this back, if you feel like it, drop in the audio, because it dropped today as we're recording this on YouTube. Drop in the audio clip of Nasr as he comes across the line. It's the most emotional, most shouty 9th place finish celebration ever.
Yeah! That's points, guys! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Mega drive, Felipe. Good job. Thanks a lot.
Yes!
Thanks a lot.
Yes!
Good job.
Oh man, it feels like a victory. You don't know how.
It is like a victory. Thanks a lot. Great job. Great job.
Never stop believing, guys.
No.
Never, never, never. Yes! É porque eu sou brasileiro. E eu não desisto nunca. Eu vou até o fim. We scored 2 points.
2 points, yeah. Mega.
Mega. Oh, well done, guys. Thank you. Duncan.
It is absolute pure magic, and it's heartwarming as well. You can tell the emotion is there. It's raw emotion. This is a team fighting for survival, effectively, and this is what really, we talk about this a lot, about how F1 just does not look after its lower order at all. We all know that whoever finishes last in the Constructors this year won't get a single penny. Now, that is not fair on any level.
No.
But this is a kind of a consequence of it. That battle for 10th place is pretty much as intense as the battle for the top tier. Well, it's more of a battle than the battle for the win in the Constructors Championship.
It's a battle for survival, basically. And you're right. It is not.
This is like back to the Marussia Caterham days of 2011, 2012.
Yeah, it's not even fair when you consider that Newcastle United shit the bed last season and will still get more money for getting relegated than the last place team in this F1 World Championship will be for having one of their best seasons in years. But man, Felipe Nasr finishing 9th, scoring Sauber's first points of what looked like a lost 2016 season after a
But this kind of reminded me of and it's talked about more and more now since his sad passing. This reminded me of that drive from Bianchi in 2014 at Monaco.
Right, absolutely.
In terms of importance, in terms of a young driver standing up, and in terms of a potentially team-saving drive, this is magnificent.
Right. And I want to make this point because I've been a proponent of Nasr's talents now for a while, since before he was even up in F1. Last year...
Yeah, you were the one telling me when he was linked to the Force India seat and I wasn't happy about it, you were the one saying, hey, just
because I still
there.
remember back when he was the Williams test driver and you were talking about, like, he should be Massa's replacement.
Right. And when he was signed at Sauber, of course, with the whole drivers kerfuffle that happened, but there were quite a few,
four into two seats.
There was a lot of discussion of, Nasr's just here for his money. Manisha Kaltenborn can't run the team. Is Felipe Nasr even that good? And throughout all of last season, even when he was still scoring like the majority of Sauber's points. And even this year, like at times he looked miserable at Sauber, and Marcus Ericsson looked like he was clearly getting the upper hand. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Felipe Nasr at home secures Sauber's first points in a race where Marcus Ericsson bins it. And
that's got to feel good. And and let's be clear here. Like last year, he finished 13th in the points, having collected. This is not his best result in F1. Let's clarify that. He finished a best of 5th in Australia last year.
Yeah.
So this is not his best result. I mean, last year's 2015 Australian Grand Prix, if I remember rightly, was something of a crapshoot.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So many guys like 9 cars made it off the start at the start of the race, or some nonsense like that. Like barely anyone even started the race. But this one, oh my goodness, this was something else. And as I say, for a season that has been so rubbish for Sauber, they have legitimately probably been, on balance, the worst team overall this year. But they've been scrapping with Manor all the way. And ironically, had he been able to hold on to 7th, they'd have leapfrogged Renault.
Goodness.
They'd have leapfrogged a factory team. This is ridiculous. And in like we talked about Verstappen's drive, that was over 12 laps. Amazing drive, yeah. This was over the whole race. He was practically up there in the top 10 for almost the entire, but obviously he didn't qualify
was
there.
As high as
but he
6th,
stuck it out.
Though.
He was as high as 6th place in a race of such changeable conditions, and I say that from changing from really bad to really, really, really bad to British summertime bad. This was, and considering how the Manners fell away, they couldn't keep their pace up. Man. Nasr was in there, and he was going wheel to wheel with guys like Hülkenberg, Alonso, Vettel, I think at one point, obviously the Red Bulls coming through the field. He wasn't that far ahead of finishing ahead of Ricciardo.
Goodness.
This was mighty. I mean, what a drive to pull his socks up and come out of there.
It would be a real shame if he's not.
We've got to applaud Nasr.
It would be a real shame if he's not on the grid at this point. I know it may just be a little bit of reactionaryism from just one race, but there are glimpses where Felipe Nasr looks like a legitimate F1 driver, and if for some reason he doesn't end up on the grid next year in Formula One, there are going to be a lot of teams clamoring for his services in another series, maybe as a reserve driver with another team. I know he has ties with IMSA because before he was in F1, he raced the Rolex 24 at Daytona. And if you give him the chance to be the next Brazilian IndyCar sensation,
yeah.
Oh boy.
Like he and Pipo Derani teaming up in a sports car. Whoa, take my money now. That'll be intense stuff. But yeah, I'll tell you what, he made a believer out of me this weekend, and that's a big deal because I am almost as cynical as Dre at times. This was seriously good driving on a horrendous, track, horrendous, conditions the entire race. It was really good stuff. And as I say, the Manners tried a similar thing, couldn't keep it going. And this is Esteban Ocon, who's just been signed by Force India, Pascal Wehrlein, who's Mercedes' prototype. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
just real good stuff. And this, to me, was the big feel-good story of the day. In amongst everything else, in amongst the self-flagellation over Verstappen's drive, warranted to a degree. Yet again, talk about Rosberg deserving the title. This was the feel-good story that kind of F1 needed. It was really good.